Well, guys, it is now time for the recap of the 2024 MTWS season for October. I meant to do this video earlier today, but I was so busy with other stuff and all that, I finally got around to doing it. Of course, October was a very busy month. We had our return to Miami, Houston, our return to Syracuse, our debut, of course, in Brisbane for the International Series, and just yesterday, of course, was the debut in Reno as part of the Arena Tour. 5 events, and while Miami and Houston I thought were kind of mid for MTWS standards, Syracuse and Brisbane were amazing. And I would put Reno in that mix, but the last few freestyles kind of let down a little bit, so it's not as good as those last 2 events. But hey, what a wild month it was. And how about that, yesterday we saw today we saw Night Stalker win its first ever event, which was insane after 13 years. So good on that in Reno. So anyways, it's time to look at how the season's gone so far for the trucks as we go into November coming up. So of course, Outlaw leads the point stands after that wild double down it did in Brisbane. Oh my god, I still can't believe it did that triple corkscrew consecutive backflip or whatever off the tire ramp. That was insane. Leads the league with 1,200 points. 15-6 racing record, scoring 208 points. It's really turned around lately after doing a little bit of struggles earlier. And then Shatter is second. It had the lead early on. Lately, it's been struggling a little bit in racing. Shatter early on looked like unstoppable. Blood Rage is 3rd place right now. And then Mad Dog is 4th. Eruption, despite having still a losing record in racing, is actually doing really good in freestyle, which helps save it in the point stands at the moment. So really good for it. Wild Ride is 6th. And Ye Plunder, I don't know how it's doing, but Ye Plunder still continues to have an insane season so far. It made the finals, of course, once again in Brisbane. It has one of the best racing records in the league. I don't know how it's doing as Ye Plunder is really making a run at making the championship. It's insane. Fireball's still struggling racing. It's done a lot better in freestyle. It won freestyle a couple times, and it did win racing, remember, in Syracuse. Crush and Run is struggling too in racing. 8-8 record right now. Not that good. Patriots having a really good racing record at the moment after a little bit of a struggle early on. Power Forward struggling in racing, especially since it didn't race at all last time out in Brisbane with the breakage. Destroyer is still right there in the mix after it won racing in Miami. Impala not having the best racing record either. A bunch of trucks are struggling racing. Even Crazy Bull, the defending racing champion, is struggling a little bit in racing, but still has a win record and is hanging there in the point stands. Nitro, of course, right there. And the Monster Rays are starting to lose its momentum after that really strong start it had in the season opener in Minneapolis when it won racing. After that, it's gone 2 and 5 cents, but it's still hanging there. Crazy, of course, not doing good in racing, but it's doing really good in freestyle, of course, so that's why it's there. Crush and Run, dominant performance in Reno. It won racing. It was 2nd freestyle. It almost got the sweep, so it did good enough to get into the championship right now. Bling is struggling, but hanging in there. Total Chaos, after not making it the last few years, is right there. Polar Storm's right there. Shadowrun with a terrible racing record, but of course, elite freestyle performance is there. Night Stalker, of course, got fixed this. As Night Stalker won freestyle for the first time ever, last time out in Reno. So that's why it's in the point stands at the moment. And then it's Flying Falcon just getting in by this barely getting in. Alright, then for the Runners-Up Cup, we have Reckless Intent, who's been struggling racing. Daisy Chain, after doing really good in freestyle in Syracuse, that insane freestyle did. How about Thunderbolt struggling not making a championship at the moment? That would be insane if it didn't make it, because it's not doing so well in racing after last year where it was really good in racing. And I don't think it's doing that good in freestyle either. Damage Control struggling. Predator has not won a single race yet this year. That is insane. And then Bone Crusher struggling, Madness struggling, Stinger struggling too. I guess that's what happens when you don't have my Orlando on your schedule. Prowler struggling, even though it did good in freestyle recently. High Flying struggling, especially when you lost 3 races in a row in Reno with getting the fast loser twice. Kind of like Fireball early in the year. Reckless Intent is struggling. Venom's actually doing pretty solid in racing, but freestyle not so much. Locomotion struggling. Outrage continuing to struggle from last year, but a lot of it's because it hasn't competed in a lot of events yet. Later on in the year, it's going to be competing in a lot more events, so we'll see if Outrage can make the comeback. Topsy Turvy struggling, and Crusher, last place, is struggling too. Alright, so of course, we see Outlaw leads the point stands. The best racing record in terms of wins, Outlaw has the most wins with 15, and it's Shatter and Ye Plunder. I still can't believe Ye Plunder did that with 14 wins. But the best racing record is Mad Dog. 75% win percentage. Just unbelievable. And again, Shatter and Ye Plunder are second with 73.7%. Again, I just can't believe how Ye Plunder's right here. 14-5. It's probably won more races this year than it's done in the last few years combined. Just insane. Okay, Freestyle. Looks like Eruption. How about that? Looks like Eruption is the league leader in freestyle points right now. Just insane. Lead the league at freestyle. And Shatter's second place with 209. Just wild and all that. So, looking really good. So, now we got to start talking about the points, the championship clinching scenarios potentially. Now, the last 2 years, this was more the case in 2023. A lot of trucks didn't qualify for a spot until like later on near the end of the year because I was doing like my math like very, very, very conservatively on how to clinch a spot in the championship. I don't think I'm going to do it this time around. Who knows? I bet you if I look at the point standings right now, Outlaw might have already clinched a spot, but I don't feel comfortable saying that yet, although it has a 600-point lead on Shatter and Wild Ride and War Machine, Daisy Chain, and all of them. So Outlaw might have already clinched it, but I think I want to wait a little bit later on in the year before I could say it for sure. But I don't think Outlaw is going to miss out on the championship at this point. It's like so far ahead. It would have to like have a historic collapse, and even then it probably won't be enough. So Outlaw might be in the championship, and who knows, maybe other trucks might be in as well, but we'll wait till the end, near the end, later on in the month before we say. Alright, so now we look forward to a very busy November coming up with like 6 events, I think it was. So first up, November 3rd, we're going to be in Jacksonville for the first time since 2022 on this Sunday, November 3rd. Then on November 10th, we're going to be right back in Nevada. We were just there today in Reno. We're going to be back there like 10 days later in Las Vegas for our return to Allegiant Stadium. And then we're going to be live in Kansas City for the first time ever. As we're going to do Infinity-style racing for the first time in MTWS. Can't wait for that. And make a better track of cars everywhere in freestyle. Then on November 20th, we're going to be in our third Arena Tour event in Fargo and our return there after 9 years. Then on November 24th, we're going to be in Foxborough before wrapping up on November 28th. Thanksgiving, live in Julian. Cannot wait for that. So, Jacksonville, November 3rd. Las Vegas, November 10th. Kansas City, November 17th, live. Fargo, November 20th. Foxborough, November 24th. And Julian, November 28th on Thanksgiving, live. And, of course, remember, tune in on the MTWS server if you want to see the non-live events be covered, like Jacksonville this Sunday coming up. Alright, so I hope you all enjoyed the recap so far of October. What a wild event month it was. Hopefully we can keep that momentum going in November with some insane events coming up. So, see you all in November.